All right, we are finally doing the last lesson of this unit, and we're talking about multiple transformations. So a lot is happening to think about it. We have figure A, and it was first translated 5 units to the left to create figure B. So that's here, right? So I started here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So that's my first transformation. Then it was reflected over the line y equals 1. That's this line. So figure B was reflected, okay, and we got C. Then C was rotated 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. That means X and Y should switch places, the coordinates. And then since it's going to be here in quadrant 3, X and Y are both negative, and I got my final figure. So the question is, are figures A and D congruent? Answer, I will fix that on your slide. Answer and justify your reasoning. So, is figure A congruent to figure D? Well, I know that with rigid transformations, size and shape are preserved. Congruent means same size and shape. So yes, these figures are congruent. Now, how am I going to prove it? I'm going to prove it by stating that, well, if I count the units here, for this side, it's 3, and the corresponding side is 3. If I count the units for this side, it's 4, and the corresponding side is 4. So I'm going to prove these two images are congruent by talking about the properties that are preserved. So, are figures A and D congruent? Yes. Figure A, this means is congruent to figure D because the size, shape, side lengths, area, and perimeter were preserved. Remember, preserved means they stayed the same. The location changed, the orientation changed, but that doesn't matter. Everything else about these figures is exactly the same, so these shapes are congruent.